Gine's Saiyan pod makes its way back to planet Earth. She's really happy to be returning to the planet she loves after so many years, but it's not for a good reason. She really hopes that Bardock was able to get off the planet in time, and that he'll make his way here very soon. Gine crash lands down on the planet and slowly makes her way out of the pod with Goku in her arms. Instead of seeing the forest, she finds herself in the middle of the big city. There are many people staring at her, which kinda weirds her out. In front of her is a giant building called Capsule Corp, which sounds very familiar to her. As she walks some more, she eventually comes face to face with Dr. Briefs, who, even though he looks older, she can tell it's him. Dr. Briefs recognizes her instantly too, and the two hug, happy to see each other again. Dr. Briefs is more surprised by the little girl in her arms too, as the little girl he met years ago is now a mother. The civilians calm down once they realize this lady's with Dr. Briefs, as this must just be another experiment of his. Gine is invited into Capsule Corp, where she asks Briefs if two other pods landed around here, as she sent her other two sons here as well. Unfortunately, hers is the only pod that landed in the city. The other two may have landed somewhere else on the planet, but until they get a news report of them landing, there may not be a way to find them anytime soon. This really concerns Gine, and she asks if they can go back to Gohan's to see if they landed around there, since she tried to get the pods to land around that location. But clearly she's not very good with that technology. Briefs definitely will take her there to see Gohan, but he wants to introduce her to his family first. Gine meets with Ponchi and their daughter, Bulma, who is only a few years older than Goku. While they all meet, Briefs gets a call from his other daughter, Tights, about an alien landing near them. This perks Gine up, as hopefully it's either Raditz or Kakarot. Gine and the Briefs family all head out towards the island Tights is on in hopes of getting her other children. While they head off, one of the Saiyan pods hasn't landed there, and has actually landed closer to Gohan's house, the pod of Raditz. Raditz steps out of the pod, seeing the blue sky of Earth, and feeling how light the gravity is here. As he flies up, he comes across a human in front of him holding some sort of weapon. The farmer is freaking out this little alien kid in front of him, so holds out his shotgun right at the kid, hoping he's not going to eat his brains or anything. Since Raditz feels threatened by the gun in his face, he holds out his hand ready to blast the guy away. The farmer shoots him right in the head, which stings him a little, as the farmer then begins to beat on him with his shotgun. Raditz is about to retaliate to kill the man, until a voice yells out for the two to stop. The old man walks up, looking at the young boy in wonder. He asks if he's by any chance a Saiyan from the planet Sadala. Raditz reveals that yes, he is. How does this Earthling know that? The old man smiles, revealing that his name is Gohan, and that he raised a little Saiyan girl on his planet some years ago. Raditz recognizes the name Gohan immediately as his mother's adopted father, with him telling Gohan that he's Gine's son. Gohan is very happy to hear that Gine made it back fine and even had some kids of her own. He asks Raditz to come along home with him so they can talk, with Raditz following behind as the farmer wonders what the hell just happened. Gine and the Brief family make it to an island to find this alien. Unfortunately for Gine, the alien isn't one of her sons, and even worse, it's a member of the Galactic Patrol. Jocko, the Galactic Patrolman, has been stuck on this planet for a few days now, waiting for the Saiyan pods he detected to arrive, that way he could arrest them. The Saiyans are a warrior race capable of extreme destruction, so he had to be sent here to arrest them before another planet is destroyed. Gine tries to tell Jocko that she's not that kind of Saiyan. She just sent her family here to escape the destruction of planet Sadala. All she wants is refuge. Jocko doesn't believe her, of course, and since it's just a Saiyan female, he should be able to handle her. Jocko lunges at Gine, attempting to take her in, but Gine is able to fight back and hold her own pretty well. She may not be much of a fighter, but she learned martial arts from Gohan years back, and with her natural Saiyan fighting evolution, she is a much better fighter than Jocko. Jocko is embarrassed that he's losing to the Saiyan, and goes to pull out his gun to blast her away, until Tights jumps in to stop him, beating on him herself since he just attacked this woman like that. She has her baby and family here now. She clearly isn't going to destroy the planet. After a pretty firm lecturing from Tights, Jocko doubles down, saying that he won't arrest her and she's allowed to stay on the planet. However, he'll make sure to come by every few years to make sure that her and her family aren't destroying anything. With everything come together, Dr. Briefs and Bulma help fix Jocko's ship so he can return to the Galactic Patrol. After they finish doing that, they all head off to Gohan's, where Gine has the long-awaited reunion with her adopted father. Gohan tells her that Raditz explained everything, and he's very sorry about her planet and her husband. Gine is really happy that they're all almost reunited, and asks if there's been another pod to come by here, as they still haven't found Kakarot. Gohan has only come across Raditz, so isn't very sure. So now Gine is very worried. Where could Kakarot be? Out in the field, a few soldiers have been deployed to go and track down a large explosion nearby. Once they show up, they find some weird kind of space pod. After examining it closer, they find a baby inside. The soldiers use a lift to take the pod out of the crater and lug it back to their base, where they show it to their commander, Commander Red of the Red Ribbon Army. Commander Red is concerned about the soldiers bringing back some sort of weird alien baby, and to really understand what it is, he brings it down to the crazy Red Ribbon scientist, Dr. Gero, and his wife, Vomi. That way they can do some tests on the baby to find out what exactly it is. After doing some tests on the child, Gero comes to the conclusion that this is a very strong baby, from an alien race that has a very different biology from their own, as this child has the potential to be an extremely powerful asset to the army to crush all the opposition that they have. Commander Red really likes the sound of this, with Vomi not a fan of all the tests Gero's doing on this child, so decides she's going to take care of it herself, to raise him into this new life and making sure he won't betray the army one day. And with her nurturing, this little boy is going to be very useful to the Red Ribbon Army. Back on Sadala, the remaining Saiyans are trying to get back into the swing of things with Frieza's defeat. They are all very respectful of Bardock, who is the actual Saiyan of legend, the legendary Super Saiyan. Bardock doesn't really feel that special, just that he was lucky enough to get a power boost. They want him to be the new king of the Saiyans, but it's not really his thing, especially since King Vegeta's wife, Queen Cassava, is still around, so she should just take over for her husband. He does do his best to warn everybody though, that even with Frieza's defeat, they're not out of the clear yet. They still need to worry about his brother Cooler and their father, King Cold. They all need to do some training to prepare themselves for this upcoming war, and see if the rest of them can gain this Super Saiyan form as well. In space, King Cold had heard about his son being defeated by the Saiyans, and immediately rushed over to deal with them. While he was on his way there, he discovered the body of his son floating through space very close to death. Cold managed to recover him just in time, and shock him to get him to transform into his final form. That way, he could recover a bit of himself. The transformation helped Frieza to not die, but he still can't regrow his missing body pieces, so the royal scientists worked extremely hard to rebuild him into Mecha Frieza. Frieza is revived and immediately is infuriated that he lost to a bunch of monkeys, and that the legend of the Super Saiyan was true. He tells his father that now that he's in his final form and improved his cybernetic enhancements, he can destroy those Saiyans in only one blow. King Cold tells him that he won't be going back to Sadala. He is extremely disappointed in him, that he would go to wipe out the Saiyans without even consulting with him first. His father planned to do the same thing, but he wasn't able to see the potential of these monkeys either. Now his own son doesn't see it? It was a mistake to make him the new ruler of the Empire, and while he killed his father for not seeing eye to eye with him, he won't kill his own son. So, we'll do the next best thing and banish him from the Empire. Frieza can't believe his father would do something like this to him, and attempts to argue back, but Cold isn't having it, and Frieza is banished from the Empire with only a new ship given to him. With Frieza's departure, Cold makes an announcement to the Empire to inform them that he is now once again the new ruler, after the Saiyans made a fool of his son. He will go to talk to them personally, but if any other races want to bully them around, to feel free. This transmission reached Gine's pod at Capsule Corp, who was happy to hear that Frieza had been defeated, but now King Cold wants to go after the rest of the Saiyans. She guesses it's not going to be safe to go home anytime soon. The Saiyans picked up the transmission as well, and are very worried that King Cold is coming soon, as he's definitely going to want revenge for his son. Bardock has been training to get to Super Saiyan form easier, and has been training his squad to try and get it as well. While they're probably not gonna get it, he can get stronger and stronger with it, so hopefully he'll be more than enough to take out Cold. As the Saiyans are training for Cold's arrival, Frieza has been going out, wondering what he's going to do now. What will his life be without being a ruler? Nothing. He's not going to let his father treat him this way. He may be strong enough now to kill him himself, but then he'd have Cooler to deal with. With Cooler's new transformation he's achieved, he's not sure if he'd be able to kill him. He'll just have to gain that form himself. But how? As he's wondering, he picks up a transmission from a nearby planet. A transmission from Prince Vegeta and his brothers, Broly and Tarbell. more Saiyans. He should just kill them here to take his anger out on them. But he thinks about it some more. These kids shouldn't know that he tried to blow up their planet, so he'll most likely blindly follow him. If he can get them on his side, then he may be able to turn them against the other Saiyans, his father and Cooler. With them gone, he can regrow his empire and become the strongest in the universe once more. Frieza flies down to the young Saiyans and their caretaker Nappa, who are taken aback by how Lord Frieza looks right now. Frieza tells the young ones that he was betrayed by the Saiyan race. They attacked him from behind in an attempt to take over the empire. They were cowards attacking him from behind, and it cost many Saiyans their lives, even their fathers. He understands that their father was very controlling of their lives, sending them to all these planets constantly every day. Well, if they join with him, then he'll allow them to do anything they want, going to the planets they want to, training when they want to. They'll finally be free of their father's control, and able to live their own lives, as long as they always report back to him at the end of the day. The group find it funny that Frieza was hurt that bad by the Saiyans, but this offer is a really good one. Their father was always so strict, forcing them to be at places at very specific times, and if they missed a deadline, he would punish them with a beating. They're glad he's gone, and if they have a chance to live a more free life with Frieza, then they're gonna take it. Nappa and the three princes go along with Frieza, and now he has 4 Saiyans under his control. Doing some communications too, the Ginyu Force say that they are still loyal to Frieza, so will work with him outside of King Cold's knowledge for as long as they can. So, with the Ginyus and the Saiyan princes under his belt, it's time for Frieza to slowly build up his own empire, and one day, overthrow his brother and father. Eventually, King Cold and his forces arrive on Sadala, wanting to meet the Saiyans who defeated his son. Bardock and his crew step up to Cold to announce that it was them who killed him, and if they don't get off of their planet, then he'll be dead too. King Cold laughs, saying his son was an idiot for getting himself taken down. He won't be so stupid. Before he can finish his sentence, Super Saiyan Bardock has punched a hole right through the king's chest. Cold spits blood, not believing that this is happening. Bardock rips his arm out, smiling at the king, telling him he left himself wide open. King Cold backs away, realizing he's going to die. He was wrong. These Saiyans would become stronger than them one day and kill them all. He was wrong for killing his father and exiling his son. None of this would have happened if he had just listened. He tells Bardock that he may be done for, but Frieza is still alive out there, enhanced with mechanical upgrades, and he'll be the one to end them all. If not him, then his older son Cooler. The Frost Demon line won't end here. His sons will avenge him and wipe out every last one of the Saiyans. Cold then falls to the ground, dead. Bardock and the others can't believe that Frieza is alive. If Frieza's still alive out there and has actually been enhanced with cybernetics, then he'll be a lot more powerful than before. Even with the training that Bardock's done, he doesn't think that he'll be able to beat Frieza this time. And after they defeated Frieza, he hasn't been able to see into the future anymore, so they won't be able to rely on that for when Frieza eventually comes back. It would probably be best if they left the planet for now, as they won't all get wiped out if he can't find them. So, with that, all of the remaining Saiyans leave their homeworld behind. Bardock contemplated going to Earth, but if he goes there right now, then Gine and his children would be in grave danger. He'll go back to them once all is said and done, with Frieza and Cooler gone for good. On Earth, after weeks of waiting, Gine decides that they're not going to get any news on Kakarot's whereabouts by normal means. They need to find him now, and she thinks the only way they can do that is with the Dragon Balls. Thankfully, Dr. Brief still has his old Dragon Radar, so they can begin the journey whenever. Raditz and Goku will stay behind in West City, as her, Gohan, and Briefs go out once more on a hunt for the Dragon Balls. Once again, there's really nobody out looking for them besides the occasional mugger, so finding all of them isn't as hard as it usually is. It takes a few weeks, but eventually they find them all once more, and summon Shenron. Gine wishes for her son Kakarot to be returned to her, but Shenron says that wish cannot be granted. The boy called Kakarot is currently with beings of pretty high powers, and they wish for him not to be taken away. Gine wonders who on this planet could have powers that Shenron himself can't break through, and is even more worried for his safety. She asks where he is, with Shenron revealing that he is in the care of the Red Ribbon Army, being trained as a weapon for them. With Shenron granting Gine's question, he disappears, with Dr. Brief saying Kakarot is really in trouble if it is the Red Ribbon Army. They're a group of terrorists who've been terrorizing the world for years now. If they tried themselves to get Kakarot back, then there would be nothing they could do. Gine is heartbroken that she can't get her son back, with Gohan comforting her that maybe one day they can go for a rescue mission, but it's too dangerous right now. For now, she should return to her other children to help raise them into good people, as with their powers, they'll definitely be a big help in saving their brother. Gine wipes her tears from her eyes and thanks her father as the group return to West City. From here, we're gonna move into a little bit of a time skip. Over the years, Gine, Raditz, and Goku have stayed out in West City, with Gine being given a nice little apartment from Dr. Briefs to raise her children in. Raditz and Goku are able to go to actual school in West City to become normal kids, but they have to hide their tails, that way they don't freak everybody out. On the weekends, Raditz and Gine go up to visit Gohan for some training sessions, and during these sessions, they would train up their normal bodies during the day, and then train in their grade 8 forms at night when there's a full moon. That way, they can get even stronger in those forms for when they needed to infiltrate the Red Ribbon to get Kakarot back. The training goes very well, and they're able to regain their senses into form and not kill Gohan in the process. While these guys were up there training, Goku would stay behind at Capsule Corp and hang out with Bulma. The two ladies pretty much grew up together, so are bonded like sisters. They work out on a multitude of machines, with Goku getting really good at building cars and motorbikes. Goku isn't just strong in the mind either, as she also goes to her karate classes Gine signed her up for. She's trained with Gohan a few times, but likes to train the karate classes more, since there are kids her age there. She makes really good friends with a young boy named Mark. Mark was a bumbling idiot, who was strong for sure, but not really that good at techniques or anything. Goku made sure to step in to help him out on honing in his technique, which was kind of embarrassing for Mark, having a girl help him out in martial arts. But after actually taking her advice, he realized she actually knew what she was talking about. Goku and Mark became pretty good friends and hung out some more after school at Capsule Corp with Bulma. Raditz would definitely tease Goku on hanging out with a boy, but Goku makes it clear that she doesn't have those kinds of feelings about Mark, he's just a friend. One day, Bulma finds her dad's old Dragon Radar in a drawer, and when she realizes how outdated it is, she decides to fix it up some to get it to work better. After only spending around a half hour on the radar, it works a lot better than it did before, with her showing her progress to Goku and Mark when they come by. They all start talking about going out to find the Dragon Balls themselves, just like their parents did, with Bulma and Goku having to explain what they are to Mark. Dr. Briefs says of course they can go out, as he thinks it'll be fun, with Gine saying yes too, but says that Raditz is gonna have to tag along to help protect them from any danger. None of them mind, especially Bulma, as she kinda has a crush on him for how stunning and handsome he appears to be. Raditz kinda has one on her too, but would never admit it. But hey, maybe this journey will finally be that chance. The group all pick a date to begin, and head off on their hunt for the Dragon Balls. However, this time, our group isn't the only one looking for them. The Red Ribbon Army has been doing some research on these orbs as well, having picked up some intel on their existence ever since they got used under a decade ago by some unknown figures. Commander Red had Jiro create a scouter for them, and his isn't as good as Bulma's as he doesn't have direct access to the balls, but it still works fine. Of course, this won't be that easy of a journey, so Commander Red decides to send some of his best men to do the job. First is Jiro's own soldier son, Jevo, and then Vomi's adopted son, Prototype Zero, codenamed Jasper. Jasper has gotten some modifications done to his body from Jiro, making him part cyborg, and an even more effective killer. He's basically this universe's Winter Soldier, even though he's only a child. He doesn't have much of a personality, as his only objectives in life are to kill who he needs to kill. Though, he does have a soft spot for the woman who raised him, and his adopted brother Jevo, so the two going out to find the Dragon Balls together is a perfect pairing. Jasper has never failed Red yet, so he promises he won't fail him this time. Jasper and Jevo head out on their mission to gather the Dragon Balls themselves. That way, the Red Ribbon Army can rule the world. Elsewhere, near Grandpa Gohan's house, there is a blinding flash of light, with some sort of machine appearing out of nowhere. The machine lands on some nearby mountains, with the cockpit opening and a man flying out of it. Trunks jumps out and breathes a sigh of relief. This area looks so peaceful. There's no way this is the era they've come from. They've made it to the past. Ranch flies out of the ship after him, saying she doesn't sense any large energies nearby. That means he's not here, and everybody else must be suppressing their energy. Trunks agrees, and says they should fly off to her dad and Goku's place, as that must be where they are at this point in time. Ranch agrees, though she is nervous about seeing her father and uncle after all this time. Trunks tells her they'll be fine. They just need to warn them about what's going to happen, and hope that the terrible future they come from won't happen here. The two put the time machine back into its capsule and fly off towards Gohan's house. And with that, we end episode 2 here. We're now moving into the Hunt for the Dragon Balls arc with a very different story, and one that I hope you guys will enjoy. If you guys like this video, then make sure to share it with Masako if you can. That way, he can see it and maybe promote it in some way and try and get more views for this series. As always, I'd like to give a gigantic shout out to all of my amazing patrons. We have Patrick Sandelin, Always Zero, John Lister, Boris, David Monroe, Nathan, BBB, Sin Shenron 92, Ogata Shiba, Monal, 11726, Quintess Shepard, Bossmaker, Thomas Billington, Plub Cole, Blake Foyer, Jared Guzman, Eric Doss, Matthew Garcia, Vegito Gaming 78, Judgment Wings, Sasuke 3252, True Lightning Striker, Saiyan Champ, and Speedster 352. Thank you all so much for your support, as it really helps to keep this channel going. So, thank you all so much for watching, and until we meet again. See you later!